It's Wednesday night. It is time for Super Geeked Up.
Yeah!
I am Jeff. I'm joined with my co-host Nicole, special guest co-host Jonathan Robbins, and our special guest Emmett Plant, producer of Star Trek audiobooks and also works at movies, as you can see.
Would you like an egg and movie muffin?
I would actually. We want 3.
Well, too bad. It's nighttime. Jeez. We don't serve that after 11 o'clock.
God damn it.
You see that quick change? Look how fast you got that off. That was like, that's running change for you.
I told Twitter I sent a bunch of my T-shirts to Twitter today because even in everyday life, I look like I'm dressed by a sci-fi con dealer's room. So I'm like, pick my shirt. So they're like, yes, the Klingon Starbucks shirt must be worn tonight. So
amazing.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Good choice, Twitter. Speaking of Twitter, if you're watching live, we are at Super Geeked Up, #SGU. Please send in your tweets while we're doing the show live. We're going to get into the Geek Tweet of the Week in a second. Just so you know, Emmett has some amazing Star Trek prizes to give away. These are going to be awesome stuff. Keep watching. We're going to give several of these away during the show to you guys watching live, all right? Cool. All right, so here we go.
Did you introduce everybody?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, cool.
Thanks for checking, though.
I had to change, man.
Not like me. I always get totally confused and I forget when they do stuff. And I'm like, did you say that? And they're like, yes, Nicole, it's taken care of.
Yes,
like,
we did that.
Yeah. Already happened.
Right, let's kick things off with the Geek Tweet of the Week question. It is, what fictional character would you want to narrate an audiobook, and what book should they narrate? I will tweet this out if you're watching live Twitter. We want to hear your answers. But, Emmett, since you are the expert at this kind of thing, what do you say?
Well, I don't know. They've already done it like as a video, but I guess Iago from Aladdin, Gilbert Gottfried reading 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's hilarious. If you haven't seen it, you should. But honestly, like one of my favorites of all time is I love Conrad, who played Matt Dillon on Gunsmoke, and I love Gunsmoke. Him reading the phone book would be fantastic, or Jack Webb, Dragnet. Although I'd really like him to read more like maybe if he were playing like Archie Goodwin in a Nero Wolfe mystery, something like that.
Excellent.
I have lost your audience. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
No, you don't.
Actually, that's not true because we're getting tweets in already. Chris Hadley, our good buddy, says, "Hey guys, love that Gotham shirt, Jeff." Oh, nice call. Chris, that isn't what I'm wearing.
I thought it was Got Ham. I thought you were like trying to make all the Jews angry.
Come on.
That's what my girlfriend said with that shirt.
Oh my God, Jonathan! One of my students, I tutor high school kids, said, "God ham." I don't get it. Like, what is the
They put the letters.
No, you're kidding. They really
He wore a Superman
No, they
shirt.
really thought that.
Yeah. He wore a Superman shirt, but he thought it said Metro Police.
Oh my gosh. Well, explains why you're tutoring them, I suppose.
They're actually really smart. They're really smart kids. It's just they don't not the geeky stuff. That's all.
But let's be fair. Nobody's gonna wear a Superman shirt.
Hey.
Oh, I wear Superman shirts all the time, actually. Honky Tonk Buffalo tweets in, "Can I get the movie shirt and visor along with the Star Trek giveaway?" Emmett got frozen, so he can't answer you. I'll say yes. He's going to be sending that to you, Honky Tonk. I'll answer for him.
There it is.
He's going to sign it too.
Right. He will sign it for sure. All right. So, also Honky Tonk Buffalo tweeted in to the answer to our question. Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs reading Green Eggs and Ham.
Ah.
Which is actually interesting because my answer was going to be Green Eggs and Ham too, but I wanted Darth Vader to read it.
That's funny.
Eat them, here they are.
So Dazzles tweets in, I don't know if I'm going to pronounce this right, I want Zaphod Beeblebrox to narrate Hitchhiker. Thank you. Zaphod Beeblebrox, is that right? Zaphod Beeblebrox to narrate Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, just for the LOLs.
The president of the galaxy narrating his own book. That would be fabulous.
And the best bang since the big one.
Okay, let's see. Jonathan, what's your answer?
You know, I grew up listening to John Delancey, who was Q from Star Trek, reading a lot of books, and I really liked his voice. He had a really neat way of different characters and everything. But thinking about it, I keep going back to Benedict Cumberbatch's Smog, and he can read every book ever written because that voice is just mesmerizingly awesome.
It would be.
John Delancey is super awesome, by the way. If you get a chance to see him at a con, go do so because he's great. The weird thing now is like if you see him, he's inundated with the bronies because he does a lot of My Little Pony stuff now. Last time I saw him at a show, he was like, "Oh, Emmett, I'm glad you're here. There's audio on my laptop. Can you work on it during the con?" And I'm like, "No." But it's like, you know, he wasn't being a jerk or anything. He was just like, "Oh, you're here. Great." So,
that's awesome.
Yeah. Like, why don't we take that offline? Maybe talk about it next week when we're not at a show. But no, he's super cool, and if you can go see him, you should.
Awesome. That is cool to hear. At Timekeeper Show tweets in, the 10th Doctor reading a Star Wars screenplay and pausing to explain all the implausible astronomical physics.
See, the problem with pod racing is it doesn't really work, does it?
And
race a pod.
And Wasted the Show says, say big what up to Jonathan Robbins.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
That's a good, I guess, is that because you're always wasted, Jonathan? Is that why they're saying that?
Wasted is good old Steve Kassan, who is in every web series ever made, including Asset, and he's awesome.
Awesome. Cool. All right, Nicole, what's your answer?
Well, just stay with me for a second. I'm thinking...
Oh, boy. What a journey.
I'm preparing to judge you.
Well, I'm going to have to explain why I'm picking this, but I was thinking Mary Poppins, mostly because I just like Julie Andrews' voice. Reading... Well, I was wanting her to read Twilight because I was wondering if, like, someone, like, with a beautiful voice read it, it would sound better.
No, it's still not going to be good.
No.
Maybe if she
It would sound better, but it's still not going to be good.
But it would sound better.
I have a problem with, Julie Andrews.
What? Really?
Well, it's I write a ton of music, so like, The Sound of Music, Raindrops and Roses on Whiskers on Kittens, but it's a waltz, so everything is in 3/4. So it's like doorbells and it's like what's it? Something in doorbells and schnitzel with noodles. So say, can you see by the dawn's early light? So like everything that's in 3/4 matches together. So for me, I hear her singing, and she just finishes the Star Spangled Banner when she sings my favorite things. So.
Oh.
That's great.
So really, it's not her. It's just her singing.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. She's awesome. But apparently Lady Gaga can do the job. Who knew?
She was good, yeah.
That's interesting because, Facebook and Twitter seem to agree with you, but I don't know.
You didn't like it so much?
It's all right. It didn't, it was a great tribute, but we had a show that had a tribute artist doing Julie Andrews, and I thought she did a better Julie Andrews. If you're really trying to, I guess it was a great other take on the music and a great memory of how that music was, but it wasn't like, wow, she just made that her own and topped what was ever done, which is kind of what you'd hope to see from someone like that. Yeah,
but on the other hand, I don't see Julie Andrews rocking out Poker Face anytime soon.
That I can watch.
Yeah. Fair enough.
So one more answer on Twitter. Amy Hoff says, I think John Noble's voice is awesome from Sleepy Hollow, but not sure what book he narrates. He does have a cool voice.
I bet he'd be great in the studio, too.
There you go. There's an idea for you.
Kind of thing. I'd be really good at something like Failsafe, which was a book that was kind of the inspiration for a non-hilarious Dr. Strangelove. It's actually very serious, and I bet he could really amp up like that tension between countries in the same way that you can amp up tension between people. I bet he could do that on the page.
Sweet. Timekeeper Show says, where is Tanya? What is happening? So Tanya is very ill tonight. So
I am the new Tanya!
Yeah, Emmett said he's auditioning to replace Tanya tonight.
I'm not. Tanya, I hope you get well soon. Get some chicken soup. Matzo ball soup. That'll do the job.
Oh, that sounds good, actually.
Tanya,
Everyone's just gonna quit the podcast and eat soup now. Sorry, everybody.
Tanya is running a crowdfunding campaign on Indiegogo for her film called Red Spring, which is a vampire film, and I've kind of been in on it as it's been being developed this year, and it's just super fantastic. You should definitely check out Red Spring on Indiegogo, and I think, knowing what it's like to run a crowdfunding campaign and how hard that is, I think that's kind of knocked her out for the count tonight.
Yeah. So
are they good vampires or like stupid vampires?
They're evil vampires, very, very.
They're not sparkly vampires.
Okay, then you have my $50. I will kick it in tonight.
Oh, she would love that. Thank you for mentioning that, Jonathan. Red Spring at Red Spring Film was the Twitter. We also on Super Geeked Up we posted a link to it as well, so you can find it there as well on the Facebook page of Super Geeked Up. Cool. So let's see. Wasted the show says Jonathan is lying. He is wasted all the time. And he also says I just saw Mary Poppins get recently. Julie Andrews, damn.
Well, I don't understand how like the first part of your statement is, "Oh man, Jonathan, turn up to Mary Poppins." Woo!
Yeah, she is fine.
Damn.
She went topless in a film in the 70s.
I gotta go.
What, really? He's going to check. I know. I can't see that. That's wrong. I can't look.
I have an idea about a spoonful of sugar, not appropriate.
All right.
Yeah, it begins.
No.
Yeah.
I'm not going there.
Why did I bring up Mary Poppins?
I don't know. It could be worse. It could be bedknobs and broomsticks. We'll be talking about Angela Lansbury.
Oh, boy. At Necrodius believes he wants to see Betty White rock out Poker Face. That would be hilarious.
Oh, my
That
God.
would be good. Yeah.
All right, cool. So, all right, excellent answers to our Geek Tweet, folks. We got Geeky Movie Mashup and Character Cage Match coming up later in the show. We're going to talk some Kevin Smith movies, some more Clerks, maybe. That was a good movies wardrobe we had earlier to tease that. And
I wish I could.
Yeah, live
I wish
action.
I knew more about Kev's movies. I'm a huge fan.
Yeah, me too. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it later. Don't worry. Okay. Don't get too excited yet, though. All right, so let's talk.
Time and place for everything, Emmett.
What was that?
There's a time and place for everything.
Yeah, and my place is not on this crazy podcast. I need to be back in my studio with my headphones on and not looking up 70s clips of Julie Andrews.
Don't say anything.
Sorry.
All right, so before we get to that, let's talk to our guest, Emmett Plant. So as we mentioned earlier, he is super awesome. He has produced over 20 Star Trek audiobooks.
I had that on my resume. Super awesome.
You should. Just say Super Geeked Up says you're super awesome.
Yeah. I've been doing Star Trek for about a decade now. I'm on my second 5-year mission, so it's fun. I enjoy that. I own a company called Clockwork Jetpack, and we do everything from video game soundtracks to, everything now, because we've got a bunch of really incredibly talented people doing a bunch of really cool stuff that I would never think that we would get into, like, hey, you guys want to do role-playing games? Yeah, sure, let's do that. That sounds like fun. So we're doing that now, too. So it's a lot of fun. And I run a Star Trek fan club called trekfan.org. It's called TrekFan, but the website is trekfan.org. But, yeah, I have fun every single day. If I wake up in the morning, if I don't think I'm going to have fun that day, I burn everything down and start over. Not even kidding.
Emmett, you got into Star Trek at a time when Star Trek, for a lot of people, was kind of old news. There wasn't a lot of new Star Trek content coming out at that time. Why then? Why did you get into it at that time?
It was just a weird thing. I was producing a lot of audiobooks at the time, and they're like, "Hey, you want to do these?" Yes, I do. I grew up on Channel 11 in New York, and trust me, I came at Star Trek fandom the hard way because they would run Spock's Brain every 2 weeks, but Mirror Mirror every 6 months. So, that's rough. So I was like, yeah, absolutely, I'd love to do that. That's the coolest thing in the world. I'll do that. And I did that, and that was fun. But you know what? Right now, people are like, oh, man, nothing's going on with Star Trek. And you know what? The best Star Trek novels that have ever been written are coming out right now. Ever. What drives me crazy is you want to go back and you want to do audiobooks of these books now because you don't have to fit them on a CD or a cassette. You can do them unabridged. And a lot of those classic novels that are fantastic, like Prime Directive, it's been abridged with a side. you know. So it's like, come on, we're digital now. We can not only can we do a digital recording, which would be amazing, but we can do it on a bridge. It would be cool. But you know, fingers crossed. I hope it's coming. But there's a ton of awesome Star Trek content out there, and people should seek it out.
Super cool.
Any so you just mentioned Product Directive. Any other ones you would maybe, for people who haven't listened to ones before, you would recommend highly?
Oh, good God. So many of them good. Jimmy Doohan's Kobayashi Maru is fantastic. George Takei, Enterprise: The First Adventure, and obviously some stuff like Imzadi and Imzadi 2, Spock versus Q. If you've never heard it before,
oh wow,
go listen to it. And I would, I hate to say this, but I checked like a month ago, and the vast majority of Star Trek audio books I've worked on are on YouTube.
Oh.
So, like, I can't. They're not taking money out of my pocket, and I would appreciate it if people would go buy it. But on the other hand, it's hard for people to find. I think you can go get some of them on Audible and stuff like that, and that's great. If you want to do that, please, by all means, spend some money and support the product. It definitely helps more stuff get made. But it's all on YouTube.
All right. I got another question for you, but first, Necrodius tweets in, Emmett also receives my awesome seal of approval. Wear it well, good sir.
Oh, Necrodius? God
Yes.
damn, I love that guy.
Do you really, or do you?
I don't know who he is, but I do thank him from the bottom of my scaly heart.
He is an awesome
Follow me
guy.
on Twitter, and I will.
Oh yeah, so there you go. And by the way, it's at Emmett Plant, and that's 2 M's and 2 T's in Emmett.
Yep.
So follow him. Necrodius, he follows all our guests, so he definitely will.
Excellent.
Yeah. So I have a question for you. You were the audio engineer for How to Speak Klingon.
That's true.
So my question is, because I actually don't know the answer to this, even though I'm a huge Trek fan. Did the writers of Star Trek or TNG, did they develop an entire Klingon language, or just come up with the words they needed, like when they needed them? Do you know?
This, that, and the other. The Klingon language was, originally spoken by Jimmy Dillon, believe it or not. But Mark Okran developed the Klingon language for the motion pictures, and he kind of became their go-to guy for the Klingon language. And you need to understand that there is an honest-to-God Klingon Language Institute. Like, there is an organization, and they translate all the time. It's a volunteer staff from all over the place. The guy who leads it is Dr. Lawrence Schoen, who's the voice on How to Speak Klingon, but he's also a clinical psychologist. Like, dude is smart. But there is an organization devoted to the language. And I know that the Star Trek book authors will often reach out to the KLI and say, I need a Klingon word for screwdriver. And they're like, we're on it! So like, they get together and they're like, all right, here's what the man needs. Let's find this translation for him, and they do it.
Wow.
I think Next Gen started to use that resource a little bit. I think sometimes they may have skipped it a bit. I'm not actually sure because I wasn't on Next Gen. I get tweets all the time. So it's like, did you work on Star Trek: The Next Generation? I'm like, I was 11. No, I'm 4 years younger than Will. Like, they're not gonna let me on set. I was also not in Stand By Me, so it's not going to happen. But, yeah, I'm not an actor. So, but yeah, no, I didn't work on that. But the TNG writers, they did go back and forth a little bit. And, the one thing that's kind of amazing about Star Trek is that it is so consistent when you're dealing with the production speed of television. Like, you should be amazed that most of the star dates ever lined up, because you're making this stuff in 6 days. It's very fast. It's very fast-paced, and it's a miracle that it is as consistent as it is. So, I don't mind if they blow a Klingon word. Honestly, I wouldn't know if they did or not.
How long does it take to record an audiobook?
Obviously, it depends on how long it's been abridged, and it depends on kind of the system in which you're recording and how you're doing it. You're also paying, there's a union involved, and you have to pay talent by, a 4-hour block, and you're doing a full day, and they get a certain amount of rest between these 4-hour blocks, and when they do stuff like that. And you want to make sure that, whether or not, someone's reading a lot, you want to make sure that their voice sounds good and they're, that they're taking sips of water like Nicole, and that they're hydrating for the day, and that they're taken care of, and that they've got food and that they can see the light on the script in front of them. You want to make sure they're comfortable. How to speak Klingon, for example. Like if you play with the book, you're going to find maybe a total of 45, 50 seconds of Klingon phrases. It was recorded over 2 full studio days, which is crazy town. But we did the first day of recording, and it was not what they wanted to do. And then, we got some direction. It was good. Everything gelled, and it was fantastic. Even to the point where I was not recording in my studio, so I was building the day before the second day of How to Speak Klingon recording. I was making my own sound baffling materials. Like I was going to the craft store, getting foam core, cutting foam in half, putting together, my own acoustic tiles to make How to Speak Klingon sound good. I should really auction them off someday. Like, put this in your house. But
that's
Anthony Davis tweeted in, and he says he has How to Speak Klingon in an audiobook. Yeah.
Does he dig it?
Yeah, I mean, he loves Star Trek. He's a huge fan. Yeah, so he says that he has it. Yeah.
And we have some other tweets. Actually, a bunch of tweets for you, Emmett. Funky Talk Buffalo says, yes, Kobayashi Maru is my favorite Star Trek novel. It is amazing.
It's a very, very good one, and I really, really like it. My favorite Star Trek novel is Prime Directive by Judith and Garfield Reeves-Stevens.
Nice. They wrote on Enterprise, right?
Yes, they did. Really good episodes of Enterprise. So if you want to go back and be like, oh man, we finally get to see a Sailot after all this time, and we'd only previously seen one in the animated series, F yes. That's what I'm talking about. Like, as a Trekkie, that pleases me no end. I can ignore the fact that, the Vulcan High Command looks like the inside of a Hilton. But if I got to see a Sailot on actual Star Trek, I'm so in. Like, I'm cool with that.
Nice.
So.
Listeners may want to know, did you work on the Star Trek audiobook Q Squared?
Oh, God. I don't think so. I think that was actually done by Algernon Henry. He and I went back and forth. And the funny thing is, like, for him, he was like, yeah, I'll work on this audiobook. Cool. Like, he's not a Trekkie. So he also did, I think we split the Shatnerverse books as well. So he did some of those. And I don't want people to think that if it's a Star Trek audiobook, I did all the work. Because, there's a big production staff and stuff like that. So, and people like us were just, doing it for digital delivery. It's like, we do the job. So.
At Jerry Shaw said, tell Emmett he should have worn his NASA shirt. There's a vote for the NASA shirt.
Jerry Shaw is a Canadian princess. But sometimes you lose the what's Emmett gonna wear election, and I'm sorry.
Our buddy at Hunter's Realm says, what would be the Klingon words for sonic screwdriver or wibbly wobbly timey wimey?
Okay. Number 1, contact the Klingon Language Institute. I'm sure they've already translated it. And number 2, bite me. Because I grew up watching Doctor Who on PBS, okay? And no one liked it. No one cared. And I would talk, like, I had maybe 2 friends in school that liked Doctor Who. And I spent my entire time growing up like, oh, I want more Doctor Who. I really want more Doctor Who. I even got to work with BBC R&D over in England, and that was super fun. And I got there like, you like Doctor Who? I'm like, F yes, I like Doctor Who. But, all this time you spend waiting for a new series, and it just never came. And now that there's a new series, and it's awesome, but I'm a grown-up now, and I don't have time to watch it. So it's like, come on. And now girls, oh my God, girls are wearing TARDIS everything, and they're dressed up as the TARDIS and dressed up as the Doctor.
Every con.
If you could put a TARDIS on something, it's gonna be bought by like an actual girl, and like that's mind blowing to like 13-year-old me, because it's like. Because, like, now, like, girls would be like, well, whatever it wants, Chameleon Circuit. And I'm like, ah!
Born at the wrong time.
Seriously, come on. Also, David Tennant's my favorite of the new ones, so.
All right, very good. So we have a ton of Doctor Who fans who watch our show. So here's the thing. I
do
really
have
like
a scarf and a TARDIS key. So
excellent. I really like that tweet by Hunter's Realm, actually. So I want to give one of the prizes to him, and then we're going to talk about the other one.
What prize? Which one?
Let's start with the Star Trek cards. Why don't you show those? The trading cards?
Okay, the Deep Space Nine ones or the other ones?
No, the other ones. The other ones.
Okay. We have 3 of these to give away.
Tell them what they are.
They are Star Trek Edition Skybox Master Series trading cards. They are original art compositions from, the Star Trek series, original series movies, and the insanely hideous Galaxy Class Enterprise.
You don't like the Galaxy Class Enterprise?
No, not a fan.
Wow. Well, I will say, what's the Enterprise?
Yeah.
I will say I like the Enterprise E actually better. That's what, Sovereign Class?
I don't know. I'm like. I
might actually know something you don't. But I'm actually really proud of myself.
Actually, E is Sovereign. I like the Excelsior. Plus it's Sulu ship. Yeah. Yes. It's the USS Oh My. So I'm going to go for that every time.
All right. So anyway, in that thing, there's what you said, 36 packs cards in that thing?
Oh yeah. It's and keep in mind the weird thing about this. These are sealed from 1993. They're we're not kidding around. These are honest to goodness cards.
All right. So Eros, Hunter's Realm, you just won one of those. We have 2 other ones to give away. So, I don't know. Do you got any trivia, Star Trek trivia we could do as a?
Sure. What was the name of Spock's childhood pet?
Oh.
Actually,
Okay.
You just over time.
First one to answer. Wait, you guys don't answer. Don't give the answer away.
I don't know the answer, so.
Twitter.
I want to be able to win too.
Twitter, no, you can't win. You're a guest co-host. So Twitter, put that in. One more question, Emmett, besides that, so we get 2 of those to give away.
Oh God. I don't know.
I know. Put him on the spot.
What's the prefix code of the USS Reliant?
The Reliant. Oh.
Oh, I think one of our fans is going to know that.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
No, one in particular I'm thinking of, though, I think is going to really know it.
Although I got to tell you, having a 5-digit code to basically hand over bridge control of your starship is not good design. It's harder to break into my email than it is to break into the Reliant.
That's awesome. At Dezel says, "Oh my, OMFG, those cards dies."
Great, you've killed somebody. I hope you're proud of yourself. Someone's shuffling off their mortal coil.
Dezel's actually says Spock's childhood pet, Aichaya.
That is correct.
Dezel, good job, you won, man. Now, actually, if you answer the other question, you're going to win something too. But the third one of these, I actually want to give to the Crodius because he says my dad loves cards like this, and his dad has been in the hospital and been very sick recently. So I think that's a great thing to give to his dad. Yeah.
Tell him that you know what he'll win that, but contact me. Send me a message, and I'll send something special for his dad.
Aww.
That's awesome.
That's so sweet.
No problem.
All right, so we got.
I love.
He's like, yeah, I'm amazing.
No. No, I'm serious. I'm dead serious. Star Trek is super important to me, and I think that if we spent a little bit more time thinking about the world that we could build, rather than the world that is provided to us, I think we could do some cool stuff. So being able to share that message with people. I can't tell you how many people come up to me and they're like, man, I got into broadcast technology because of Star Trek, or I got into filmmaking because of Star Trek, or I became an engineer because of Star Trek because I really like Scotty. I joined the Navy because I wanted to be Captain Kirk. It happens every single convention I go to. So
that's cool.
Sharing Star Trek with other people is seriously my favorite thing ever, and it would be true even if I had nothing to do with the franchise. So
that's awesome.
Hey, I gotta ask, and I don't want to fight here. I don't want anyone on Twitter to start a fight here.
Before you do that, Jonathan, let me just. We have 2 people I think who got the code right. One of them actually is the Crodius, so that's great. He would have won it anyway. But also at her weirdness, Sasha MacArthur. Emmett, is this correct? 16309.
I believe that is correct.
Awesome.
Yay!
So the Claudia, she would have won anyway. That's great. Let's give Sasha something too. Now, Sasha, we have two other things to give away. How to speak Klingon, right?
We do.
And a DS9 trading card deck, right?
That's how to speak Klingon.
Yeah. Show.
It makes noise.
And show the DS9. So Sasha, just tweet in if you want that or if you want this DS9. Show the DS9 you can.
Now, keep in mind, I mean, obviously I'm partial to how to speak Klingon, but this is actually a full set of Deep Space Nine cards for the series premiere.
Ooh.
So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's my favorite series. All right, so Sasha, tweet that in, and then the Klingon
All
books.
this stuff.
The Klingon books. Hey, dude, he's a Star Trek auto producer. That's how he gets all this stuff.
No, I'm saying it's awesome. Like,
Yeah.
if that's just so cool.
Star Trek product is a lot like the ocean. I'm drowning in it. You know.
So guys, we have three Klingon.
Awesome.
Sorry, 3 Klingon books, and we're gonna give it away a little later in the show. We'll give those away. All right, so more prizes to come.
Sure.
But good job, everybody. Impressive Star Trek knowledge. Jonathan, now.
Also, you guys who are answering these trivia questions, you need to sign up on trekfan.org because we love that all the time. It is 24/7.
Awesome. There you go. They will be heading on over there. Right,
Also, it's totally free to join. There are no costs whatsoever. You just get random Star Trek stuff in the mail sometimes too. So.
Oh fuck! I'm joining, man.
Ooh. I know. I was like, actually.
Excuse us. We'll stop the show for a minute.
Everybody pause. I need to write on the internet.
All right. So, Jonathan, I'll let you ask your question in a second.
Mm-hmm.
Before we do that, though, we're going to take a quick commercial break. If you're watching the recorded version, if you're live, you're not going to see any commercial. But if you're watching the recorded version, you're going to see a quick commercial here. And when we come back, we'll have Geeky Movie Mashup, some geeky news, and Character Cage Match. We'll see you back in a second.
Welcome back from commercial break. If you're just joining us, you're watching Super Geeked Up, and we're here with Emmett Plant, and it's a really fun show.
Yes, it is.
That was seriously one of the best commercials I've ever seen.
I know, right?
That was incredible.
I'm in Canada. I think it was a different commercial than what you guys saw, actually.
Oh,
you saw the Julie Andrews naked commercial.
That's right.
I got Subway. Eat fresh.
With all our naked Canadian parties.
Yes.
What?
Don't you know that's what they do in Canada? They have naked parties all the time.
I've spent a lot of time in Canada. That's never happened.
You're in the wrong part of Canada.
I'm at the wrong parties.
Wrong people, my friend.
I'm the wrong parties. Maybe
you go to Saskatchewan.
Well, you know what? There's nothing to do in Saskatchewan, so I'd imagine.
That's why they do naked parties.
Yeah. Everything's very flat except for the ladies, so they get naked.
Ah.
So they get super naked. They don't even really have good hockey out there, so which is weird.
All right, so before we get to one of our first games, Geeky Movie Mashup, Jonathan, you had a question for Emmett.
Well, I got to ask the million-dollar question. How do you feel about Star Wars?
What do you mean?
For it in this world as well? Is it?
Well, I think so. Some people
hate it.
What he's getting at is some people have a very either you love Star Trek or Star Wars. I love them both, and many people do. But that's I think what he's getting at.
Yes.
Oh man, like I am absolutely a huge fan of Star Wars. Keep in mind there are only 3 Star Wars movies, and there's only Clone Wars, the animated. Those exist. Everything else, not so much. But, Empire Strikes Back, I'm happy to run right next to Wrath of Khan. Absolutely. Like, it was funny because I own a company, and I think it was 2 months after a production assistant was hired, she came up to me and she's like, okay, so who's Boba Fett? And it's like, how does that even happen? How is that real? But it's important to understand, like, I run a business. If anybody needs to know about the Mandalorian armor, they can walk over to my desk. You know what I mean? I don't need them to know every stupid piece of nerd trivia that's in my head. She doesn't need to know about the Sarlacc pit for her to be able to do her job. But yeah, there's absolutely a place for Star Wars, and I actually have a really funny Star Wars-related story.
So okay. Well, what is it? Don't leave us in suspense.
All right, so let me take you back to high school. And I went to Central Bucks East with a bunch of really cool people. and there was a literary journal called Phantasmagoria, and I kind of liked writing. I thought it was cool. I was way more into the broadcasting department. It was just, that was my thing. I had a public access show that I made in the studio at our school.
Wow.
But the literary journal was I guess kind of cool, and there was a guy who ran the literary journal the year I got there, and I knew him because he had a BBS. And back before the internet, we had BBSs with modems. And he had this really awesome BBS called Shadowland, and I irritated the living hell out of this guy. Like, we talk now. I wouldn't say we're close buddies or anything, but his name is Chuck Wendig, and he's a very, very popular novelist now. And everybody knew from even back then that Chuck was going to be a writer because he was really, really good at it, and it really, really drove him. And it turns out, as of 2 days ago, there's going to be a novel that takes place between Return of the Jedi and the new Star Wars movie, and it's written by Chuck Wendig.
Wow.
So now our high school literary journal is Star Wars and Star Trek. And I'm like, all right, which one of you is writing Battlestar next? Because apparently we are where everything comes from.
Amazing.
But no, Chuck Wendig, you should actually look him up. And if you really like original, gripping novels with believable characters and especially believable female characters, definitely read Chuck's stuff. It's really cool, and I can't promote him enough. And he's way bigger than I am, but I mean, totally. We've known that his stuff was fantastic since high school, so it's really cool that he's getting an audience. And for God's sake, he's writing a Star Wars book that's going to be very important in the next couple of years. So
awesome.
Check him out.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
So at JD Christie, who actually is from Crazy TV Talk, they interviewed us when we were at Vancouver Web Fest recently. He says, "I'm learning so much about the naked parties we love to have in Canada at Super Geeked Up tonight. Wow, Saskatchewan, we're looking at you."
We're looking at you, Dog River.
And
Corner
at her weirdness tweets in, "LOL, I'm at a naked party in Canada. Coincidence?"
Why are you at a naked party in Canada and watching this show? How hideous are your party mates that you're watching this?
No, come on. That is the thing to do in Canada. Get naked and watch Super Geeked Up. That is the key thing to do in Canada.
I'm out. I gotta go.
Jonathan is like, no. I don't think so.
I came back. Union thing. Apparently you guys have muscle.
We do. All right, so let's go to our first game of the night, Geeky Movie Mashup. So
please don't tell me to get naked.
No, that's maybe a future game we do.
No.
Not with you. No, not with you. Not when you're on.
Nobody wants to see this.
That's what I'm saying.
No.
All right. So, Nicole, did you have any of yours?
I just remade them right now. I mean, I just had to try and do it off the top of my head, so.
All right. So, Nicole, why don't you explain how the game works?
Yeah. So we're gonna divide up into 2 teams. So I'll be giving clues to. Who am I giving clues to?
Well, just explain the game, and then we'll do teams.
Okay. We're dividing up into 2 teams, and Jeff will be the game master for one team, and I'll be the game master for the other. We're gonna read basically a little synopsis of 2 movies smashed together, and the team has to guess which 2 movies that we've just said the plot for.
Right. Get it?
Yes.
Okay.
Right. Cool. So, and Twitter, of course, please play along at Super Geeked Up, #SGU. You guys are usually awesome at these games. So, Tanya sent me her list because she did this game, but since she has the plague and is not on, so I'll be reading hers.
The dreaded lurgy.
All right, so let's do teams of this. Let's do Emmett and I will be one team, and then Nicole and Jonathan will be the other team.
Sounds good.
It's like the only team sport I haven't been picked last for.
Yeah, you were picked first.
Yeah. Jeff's like, I'm going to make sure he's on my team.
Yeah, because I want to win. All right, so here I'll start with one of Tanya's guys. So this Jonathan and Nicole, this is for you.
Okay.
And you guys can obviously either one you can answer, or you can team up. Okay, hang on. I almost read the answer instead of the question. All right.
Welcome to do that.
Get it together, Jeff.
All right, Ryan. All right, ready?
Mhm.
Oh, come on. Why these? Oh, this is so easy. Tanya. All right, I'm gonna have to talk with you later.
Is it
Ridiculous.
easier than a naked Canadian party? I don't know.
Well, nothing's easier than that.
Porkies.
Okay, so hang on.
Directed by the same guy who did A Christmas Story.
I don't even want to. All right, here we
We
go,
have
guys.
3 movie directors in Canada.
So, guys, this is a total softball one, but here you go.
Okay. Okay.
Marked by a lightning-shaped scar, the boy who lived ends up stranded in a castle with a man cursed to be a beast.
Cursed to be what?
Oh, so that's Harry Potter and Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah,
Be a
of course.
Tanya,
Ah.
come on now.
I know, come on, that's way too easy.
This is
She must
Why might
have,
be
she must have
kind
came
of
up with it in her delirious, sickened stupor. She was,
Yeah. Apparently that candelabra is a port key, so...
we will, by the way, in a little bit be talking about a live-action Beauty and the Beast coming up, so that's in the Geeky News. Stay tuned for that. So, Nicole, what is the first...
Maybe that's where she got the idea for it, actually.
Yeah, I
Probably,
think
yeah.
so.
Nicole, what is the first one for Emmett and me?
Okay, the first one for you guys. A badass chick fights zombies that were created by the Umbrella Corporation, while a masked killer known as Ghostface kills teenagers.
Okay, I got it, but Emmett, do you have it?
Resident Evil Scream?
Yeah.
Yep.
Very much.
Nice job. By the way, Resident Evil is one of Nicole's favorite things ever, so that makes a lot of sense. That she
I've never actually seen it. That's
No, wait, have you played the games?
What? No,
Have you
no,
played any of the
dude.
games?
No, I write music for video games, but I don't play them. Like,
That's sad.
seriously, my email address is tetrisblock@gmail.com because Tetris is the only game I play. Like, that's it, man.
That's cool.
I just
That's all right.
inadvertently gave my private email.
Yeah,
address your entire
next
audience.
he'll be giving out his phone number and his physical address.
Hey guys.
The Resident
If
Evil
any of your-
filmed in Toronto, and the bridge that's the bridge out of Raccoon City is like a bridge that we all go over on Bloor Street, and they had actually built, like, people were jumping off that bridge left, right, and center, so they built these suicide barriers, which are like this big cage around it.
By the
And,
viaduct.
yeah, and so it ended up being perfect for the military look of the movie and everything, and everyone's convinced they did it for the movie, but no, they just did it because people were jumping, but it looked really cool.
There's believe it or not, there's a Bare Naked Lady song about that bridge.
Oh, right on.
I didn't know you were in Toronto.
Yeah.
How much do you love the Silver Snail?
Oh, the Silver Snail is where I grew up.
That's my favorite comic book store I've ever been to in any country.
Amazing. I actually
Hands down.
worked. I was the manager for Planet X Comics.
Nice.
Yeah, Planet X. That's awesome.
All right, so Jonathan, now I'm very, very mad at you. I stayed at your place multiple times. I've been in Toronto. You've never taken me or even mentioned the Silver Snail. What the fuck?
Okay. The Silver Snail is not what it used to be. They moved to a new location.
Moved it, yeah.
Right, but it's not the Silver Snail.
Also, you know what you're missing when you're not taking Jeff around Toronto? Stacey Mistician and her friend from Degrassi just DJ. And you should go see that.
Cool.
Nice.
I love Degrassi.
Me too. Everybody wants something.
I played D&D with like half the Degrassi cast in my team.
No, you do not.
That's awesome.
I did. It was awesome. Yeah.
What?
So,
Is
I
this
didn't
something that-
even watch the show. I had no idea who they were. I really didn't freaking care. But
you were rolling D20s with wheels?
yeah.
Like,
Well, I still think it's weird, like Drake, because I just remember him from Degrassi, and then all of a sudden he's Drake. I was like, this is too bizarre. I can't. I just can't.
and JT is actually James Tiberius.
Yeah,
Nice.
I mean, the Degrassi cast were basically just like students in the Toronto school that they started, filming and kind of turned them into actors. They didn't really start as actors. It was really interesting how they were getting around child work laws and stuff like that. And it was all non-union when it started, and really,
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's all playing for time.
But yeah. So I mean, they
All
were.
right.
Yeah. Anyway, back on
We're
track.
not going to even get into the grassy naked parties.
All right, so but speaking of that though, Emmett before the show wanted to give a prize out to the most corniest tweet. So I think I have one now.
Okay.
So Necronius tweets in at Emmett Plant, naked Canadian parties would make them all naked Ians, right?
You're a bad person.
So what is the prize for him for the corniest tweet?
Corniest tweet. You get Commander Salah, friend.
Oh.
The Romulan Tasha Yar.
Yes.
The daughter of Tasha Yar. There you go.
Yes. Denise
There you
Crosby.
go.
It actually looked like her too, even kind of blurry and all Google Hangouty. It still looked like Tasha Yar.
It did. It
Yeah. Oh, Tasha Yar, why can't I quit you?
They'd have got lucky with her.
Well,
right.
in a weird alternate universe, I guess.
Okay, so here's the next one for Team Jonathan and Nicole. Back to Geeky Movie
Okay.
Mashup.
Okay.
All right, this one's not quite as horribly easy. He's powered by a magnetic heart. She's a forgetful blue fish. Together they make a powerful crime-fighting team.
I'm gonna say it's Iron Man, and is it
Nemo.
what would it be? Finding Nemo, right?
Iron Man and
Dory
Finding Nemo.
from Finding Nemo.
You got it.
Finding I.
Alternately, Iron Man and Jaws. So.
All right.
All right.
Well, you know what?
Russ.
He's not forgetful because he keeps coming back.
That's true.
Yeah, or maybe he forgets. Bad things happen when I come back. I don't know.
Okay, you guys ready? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, here we go. The cast of a space opera TV series has to help an alien race while the Caped Crusader protects the city from Joker.
Wait. While a Caped Crusader?
The Caped Crusader.
The Caped Crusader.
Only one.
Okay.
You guys got it? Do you need...
Yeah, I've got it. Do you want to go for it, Jeff?
Oh, I think he's frozen. Do you go for it?
Oh, that sounds like one of my favorite Star Trek movies, Galaxy Quest. And, Batman.
Which Batman?
Well, it could be the 1989 Batman. It could also
Or...
be The Dark Knight.
Yes, that would be the one.
With
Very
Heath
good.
Ledger.
Yes, I know.
Jeff is no longer frozen, which is a different movie entirely.
I know. I'm back. I could hear you guys, but I couldn't see anything was going on. All right,
Very
well, we
good.
got it, right? Sounds like you got
Yeah.
that one. Good job, Emmett.
Yeah, great job in Galaxy Quest.
I love that movie.
Far as
Oh,
Colin Tony.
I grabbed Thar's hammer. I love that movie.
Tony.
It's
All
great.
right,
You guys need to understand. I don't know how many cons you get to, but one of two things I consistently do at cons is go to the brown coat table to the Firefly fans,
Yes.
and they're always raising money for charities. So I always go over and I'm like, hey, what's Firefly? Also, how many hit points does a calm have to be damaged? Also, is Joss Whedon Will Wheaton's brother? And then they look at me like, what the hell's wrong with you? And then I just give them money for their charity. I'm like, I'm just kidding. I love Firefly. But my other favorite thing to do is when you get a ton of people in a group and everyone's just kind of milling around, maybe they're in line for something, all you got to do is stand up and yell, never give up! And the rest of the crowd goes, never surrender! Yeah, play that game. I will join in if you start that game.
Nice.
Yar, aliens.
All right, so here we go. Here's another one for Jonathan and Nicole.
Okay.
While, okay, actually, I'm gonna abridge this a little bit to make it a little harder. It's still not too hard, but a captain with a penchant for tea discovers a mysterious blue castaway capable of changing her form.
Okay, so Star Trek: The Next Generation, one of those films, or the show.
Yeah, it's definitely Star Trek, but can you read that last part again?
Yep. Discovers a mysterious blue castaway capable of changing her form.
Star Trek meets X-Men.
Yes, that was Mystique.
Oh, Mystique. Yeah.
Nice. See, for a second I thought it was going to be Rubik the Amazing Cube. Do you remember that hideous cartoon?
Well, that would have been a harder, or more of a reach for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
okay.
Good Star Trek episode, actually.
People are always like, "Hey," because in the morning I drink coffee, and more often than not, I have a ridiculous Star Trek mug. They'd be like, "Are you drinking tea, Earl Grey hot?" And I'm like, "No, dude. Coffee helps you beat Klingons and destroy the Borg. Tea gets you effing assimilated. Drink coffee." Just coffee.
All right, so Nicole, you want to do the next one?
Yes. Next one. Which one do I want to do? Okay. A father pretends to be a housekeeper, and a moody teenage girl falls in love with a brooding vampire.
The first part was a father pretends to be a housekeeper.
Yeah, pretends to be a housekeeper.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I have it, but Emma, do you know it?
Yeah, it's Mrs. Doubtfire and Twilight.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, I love that part.
Steak. Where's Buffy when you need her? Well, I guess the Hellmouth, I guess. Or, in Canada at these crazy parties.
Well, Buffy might be with Tanya right now, possibly, working on Red Spring, and she's just sick with the fever. No kidding. No, she is sick.
We're Jeffless.
Yeah, I don't know where he went. Well, I could give you guys another one. And
we shall soldier on. We'll soldier on without Jeff.
Do you guys want to try and, see who gets it first for the next one I have?
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay, let's see. All right. Here we go. Are you ready? Okay. A computer hacker takes the red pill, and a newly crowned queen turns everything to ice.
Ooh!
Meets.
It's Frozen.
Yeah, Matrix meets Frozen. We got a 50-50, I guess.
Teamwork.
All
All right, well, I only have one more, so we'll try one more.
Give it to John.
Okay.
No, I like this competition thing.
What's that?
I like this competition thing.
Okay, here we go. An orphan girl's life changes when a wealthy business tycoon adopts her, and an American adventurer accidentally awakens a mummy.
And he meets the mummy.
The mummy.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was kind of a giveaway.
I know, it was kind of a giveaway, because I said
okay.
mummy.
Geeked Up Kindergarten Edition. Thank you.
Apples to apples.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Which is really just the kid version of Cards Against Humanity.
That's a fun game, though. I know it's, really inappropriate, but here's the thing, just so you guys know, my husband's family is, really funny like that, so I think it was, Christmas, we played Cards Against Humanity with his grandparents, and it was, the funniest thing. His grandparents were, totally into it, and it, wasn't awkward, but if I would tell that to someone, oh, yeah, I played it with grandparents, they'd be like, what do you mean you play Cards Against Humanity with your grandparents?
Yeah, half the fun of that is explaining the cards to the grandparents.
Well, yeah,
Here's what this means. Here's what space docking is,
Listermate has a explanation of what might have happened to Jeff, and that's that. Oh no, sorry, it's Necrodius. I was reading many tweets at once. Necrodius has an explanation of what happened to Jeff.
Okay.
Disappeared into the Mega Realm.
Well, almost. Twilight and Doubtfire together were enough to scare him away.
Oh yeah, I should have disconnected. I was just, if there were a lighting guy over there, I'd be like, yeah, just,
Well, you know what we can talk about, even though I think Jeff's going to be sad that he's not here for it, is actually a couple news items that we had. The first being the live-action Beauty and the Beast and Emma Watson being cast as Belle. What do you guys think about that?
Oh, yes, please.
I don't know if yellow is Emma Watson's color, but
Could be.
one cool thing about Emma Watson is that she's managed to keep a lot of her talent as she's gotten older. There are some actresses who did seriously the best work of their lives when they were a lot younger, and as they got older, their talent simply disappeared. And Emma Watson is not one of these people. Like I'd like to see her in just about everything. If they wanted, it's almost impossible to find a plot that I wouldn't think Emma Watson would do a great job as. I think Emma Watson would be a fantastic Mrs. Peel if they ever did the other Avengers.
She's a very versatile actress.
Yeah,
sure.
if they were recasting the Doctor, she would be amazing. I could also see her as, Iron Man. So whatever works.
I wonder how much her amazing, extremely important that everybody should watch if you haven't watched UN Speech was in this casting, because Belle of all the Disney princesses is kind of the most forward one and the most kind of recognizing the power that women aren't supposed to be this kind of type serving prince ideal, and the
that
fact
they could be smart too.
Yeah, you want Emma Watson as Belle because Belle reads books.
Yeah.
And she's not explaining to other people why it's okay that she reads books. She doesn't care. She's going to read books whether you like it or not.
Mm-hmm.
Done.
If it was part of the casting, it's kind of a testament to how if you put yourself out there and you do what you believe in, it will come back to you, even if that wasn't the intention of obviously that wasn't the intention of the speech, but it is kind of amazing that could have led to her biggest career breakthrough since Harry Potter, just because she stood up for what she believed in.
Yeah, but let's be fair. Disney movies do kind of run hot and cold. Do you remember when Drew Carey was Geppetto?
No.
Yeah. See, a lot of the Disney stuff does fall between the cracks. I suspect it won't with her as a star in it, but just because it's a Disney movie doesn't mean it's going to be a breakaway hit. Disney made an incredibly good Hitchhiker's Guide movie with one of the best scores I've ever heard in my life, and no one cared. So, got to be careful.
Hey, I'm back.
Yay!
Welcome back.
We were just talking about the Beauty and the Beast news, and everyone's in agreement. We think Emma Watson is amazing and is going to be great. And Jonathan was mentioning if maybe her UN speech had something to do with her